so this is the hoodie that I got from my niece at the thrift store, and I'm going to be transforming it into a little Charizard hoodie because she wants to be Charizard for Halloween. So this is just a really bright, like, neon orange hoodie. And what I'm going to be doing for the belly part is I found these at Walmart, and they are about $1. And pretty much it is just this giant piece of fabric, and I guess they're for quilting actually, but it was enough for what I needed. So now I'm going to measure out, and I'm thinking about 12 inches from the very bottom of the hoodie up, and about 12 inches across in the oval shape, and holes for the pockets. Should be big enough. Now I'm going to make the pattern in just a half of the circle, or the oval, because obviously I can't, sew it fully over because there is a zipper. So I'm going to make the pattern, cut out the pieces, and I will show you what the pieces look like before I sew them on. Okay, so I'm going to fold my piece of fabric in half with the two pieces, the edges of both pieces, like that. Then I'm going to lay my pattern piece on it, and I'm going to try to line up as much as I can. Well, I'm going to leave seam allowance, and then line up what will be near the zipper part on this edge. So I'm going to line it up here, and then give it quite a bit of seam allowance. Actually, I'm going to drag it closer to the bottom here. Make sure seam allowance on every side. Yep. And then I'm just going to trace it onto my fabric, and this way I will have both sides that I need. And I also put where the pocket is on the jacket. Alright, so this is what the pieces look like all cut out. So now I'm going to iron both of them, and then I'm going to pin them on, fold them over, and pin them on, and then start sewing. Okay, so this is what the belly looks like now that it's done. So I got both pieces on either side. I also cut out for the pockets, folded it over, and sewn it. And then I left the zipper bare, obviously. So next up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the little horn things that Charizard has. And I found this orange felt at a thrift store that matches the hoodie almost perfectly, actually. So I'm going to get a lot of reference pictures of his horns and try to come up with a pattern for that and cut it out. And I will show you guys what the pieces look like after I get them cut out. Okay, so first off, I just did the snout on the hood, and I did it one half at a time, that way I could get it to match perfectly along the seam here. And I just used some black puffy paint with that. And then I made his eyes using some of the yellow fabric that I painted white, some of the yellow fabric that I painted black, and then some of the blue fabric that I will be using for the wings as well. And I just did a loop stitch all the way around. And so next up, what I'm going to do is take the puffy paint again and do the top and bottom parts of the eyes. And then I'm going to take the pieces that I cut out for the horn antler thingies, and I'm going to sew them up, and then I'm going to attach them to the hood. And I will show you guys what that looks like after I get it done. Okay, so this is what the hood looks like now that it's complete. So I added the black around the eyes, and I gave him some eye ridges, eyebrow type things. And then I went ahead and stuffed the pieces and just sewed them onto the hood. And I also folded them a little bit and sewed them so that way they would actually lean back instead of sticking straight up. So that's the completed hood part. Now I'm going to move on to the wings. I've already cut out the pieces for the wings. So this is what the pieces look like. I made a template out of a piece of poster board and then just traced it on, had the fabric folded over. So this is what the wings look like. And I made sure there was a big enough space in the middle, because in the middle is where I'm going to be sewing and attaching it to the middle of the hoodie. So this is the orange part. And then I took that same blue that I used for the eyes, which was just this blue, which is the same brand and everything as the yellow that I used for the stomach. And I just used the same template and cut out the blue part. And I'm going to sew this along the inside to attach this. And then what I'm actually going to do to give these a little bit of stiffness, but not too much so they're not, sticking straight out, but whenever she's standing up or anything like that, they'll still move, or they'll still keep their shape and move when she walks and everything like that. I cut out pieces that will fit along the edges here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew them in place and then fill them with some stuffing, and that way this will be a little bit stiffer, but this part down here will still just be just the two pieces of fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and sew all these pieces together and stuff this piece and everything like that, and I will show you guys what it looks like before I sew it onto the jacket. Okay, so just a quick little update. This is what it looks like now that I have the orange piece attached to the blue piece. And I also ironed it a little bit to try to get rid of some of the wrinkles in this part. So next up now what I'm going to do is attach the orange pieces that go along this edge, and I'm going to stuff them, and then I'll show you what that looks like whenever it's finished. Okay, so I already finished one side, but I wanted to go ahead and do a little bit more explaining on this process, just in case I didn't explain it well enough or anything like that. So what I did first was I took and right sides together, I sewed the little piece to the back, actually, of the wings all the way around till we got to the bottom of this little piece. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold it over like so. Okay, so I just folded it over, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and just fold it over just a little bit and sew it to the blue part all the way through to the other side like I did on this one. And then I'm going to go through and stuff the entire length of it, as you can see here. And that way it will give it some stability, but this part will still be just fabric. So I hope that explains it a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I will show you guys what the wings look like when they are fully finished. Okay, so I went ahead and found the middle of the hoodie and the middle of the wings and pinned it down, and now I'm going to just sew it twice right here, and I will show you guys what it looks like after that's done. Okay, so I got the wings completely sewn on there now. I have the two stitchings in the middle, and I actually stitched it twice to the jacket just on the stuff part so that it would actually sit up higher on the jacket whenever it is being worn. And also because before it was just like flopping down, so this way they're held up a little bit more. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little piece of fabric and I'm just going to sew it onto the middle here to kind of cover up the middle seam and everything like that, because you can still kind of see the blue right there. And yeah, and then the wings and pretty much the entire hoodie will be done.